Hello, and welcome once again to the Tarot with Titania reading of the week for Friday, May 19th to the 26th, 2023. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes now and take 3 nice deep breaths with me. Pulling your attention and your energy into this present moment with every breath. Dropping further and further inside yourself, coming home to your body. And I invite you to see a tree root coming down out of the base of your spine, going down deep, deep into Mother Earth and grounding you here and now in this present moment, knowing that this tree root is not only a powerful grounding for you, but it is also a conduit through which anything that no longer serves you can easily pass down into Mother Earth and become compost for your new good growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here with all of your children now and in the future to do this reading for what we most need to know right now for this week of May 19th to the 26th, 2023. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information we most need to know right now, and to provide this information in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for our well-being and the well-being of anyone whose life we touch. I call upon my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening now and in the future, as well as an overlighting angel of communication, to be present and facilitate this exchange, ensuring that it happens in the highest and best way possible, and that we cover all that is in our hearts and minds at this time to our satisfaction in the window that we have together today with regards to this upcoming week. At this point, I'd like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us, creating a sacred container of love, of light, of wisdom, of clarity, of healing, of transformation, of peace. Across time and space, wherever you are now enfolded in the circle of light. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for coming. Anything that doesn't match our intention for love, for light, for clarity, for wisdom, for healing and transformation and peace is welcome to go now. Okay, let's get on with it. A little turnabout today. Been on the computer too long. All right, Creator, we are gathered once again to be stronger, clearer, more effective clearings for love and light in the world. We ask for your support and your ability to transform whatever obstacles are in our way so that we can rise and be all that we're here to be in a good way for us, for our families, our relationships, our communities, and this beautiful planet we call home. So what do we need to know this week for our good? Everyone's good for this coming week so we can be most effective and efficient at what we're here to do and be at this time. We're starting off with the card of signals. Signals is a wand. Wand is about creativity, inspiration, and it's related to fire. So it's that generative capacity that we all carry within us to create. We all have Kundalini fire in the language of yoga that rises up and through us, and we are the channel of this life force that comes through us. This is in the recent past position, which means it's something that we know from our past, but it's related into our present and into our future. So it's important for us to remember to be aware of this. We know how to exchange signals and communication with the universe to create what it is that we most want in the world. So this, as I said, is sitting in the recent past, but this is the card of communication. We have these rays of energy coming in and bursting into bloom as they reach this woman, and she's standing on a rose, which is the symbol of love, which is the symbol of that clear desire that comes from the love space to be all that we are and to create and to contribute what we're here to contribute as well. Because we're not just here to receive, we're here to participate and engage and co-create and be part of this amazing experience we call life. So it's important for us to bear this in mind as we move into our present and into our future here. This idea of communication, of receiving information, of receiving inspiration, and then from that inspiration, creating and taking action and moving out into the world, and then receiving more inspiration and then taking a different movement and action. It's this non-stop kind of continual dance that we have going with life. So this is relevant. This communication energy is very relevant to our present and our future this week. The Prince of Pentacles changes on the level of the material. So as things continue to change and shift, this is the material level. Pentacles is earth element. It can be money, it can be home, it can be garden, it can be food, it can be community, it can be, I guess I said family already, but that energy of change, because it's a prince, and princes in my decks are knights from other decks, and so there's this quality of changing energy, of things moving in and moving out, of there being a shifting. And I think right now there's kind of that, things are shifting, things are changing. For some of us probably more than others, but ultimately I think we're all going to be seeing and experiencing difference on the level of the material. Not necessarily in a bad way. If we're here to co-create with life, then we're here to create from a place of love and desire and wanting. And that energy inside of us pulls more towards us. So that's, we've talked about the energy of gratitude in the past, and how when we have a gratitude practice and we're grateful, the universe sends us more to be grateful for. It's just this lovely part of the give and take and energy flow. It's helpful for us to remember just how important our part of this is. We aren't passive recipients while we're here. We are here to be active, co-creative components to the life force energy and the expression of and changes of how that manifests on the planet at this time. So we have this communication energy. We have this changes on the material level, shifting in our present environment. Things shifting, changing. And then ultimately we're moving towards the energy of generosity, the Six of Pentacles. So once again, the energy of earth element, but this card is very much about, she's pouring the water of life out into the world. So her life force, her particular flavor of energy is she's sharing it with the world in a beautiful way. This doesn't mean tapping yourself to the point where you don't have anything left. That's not what it means. I mean, we're of no use to life and each other if we are depleted. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to practice generosity with ourselves first, and then we can share and be generous with others. When our own cup is full, that's when we have the best energy that we have to give and co-create and move around in the world. So this part of self-care is very much part of this energy of generosity, because it starts there. And when we're flowing in that space of generosity and ease and well-being, we can contribute in beautiful, beautiful ways. So this is sitting in the near future. We have sort of like sparkles of it's almost like sparkles of water coming out of these flowers up above, and she's pouring water out here, and then there's the sparkles coming down out of the base of where she's standing on this beautiful star. So this quality of giving, of sharing, of moving our energy out, and it doesn't necessarily have to be money. It can be part of that, but Pentacles, as I said, is the earth element. So there's this quality of sharing, of giving, of who we are and our gifts and our abilities in the world in perfect ways. Harmonious and generous. The foundation card, why we're having the reading this week, is the card of death, the key 13. And as I say to people, yes, it can represent the end. It can represent the end of the physical body, the end of being embodied on the earth plane at this time. It definitely can mean that. It also means radical change, as in the death of something, as in the closure of something, the completion of something. So this is why we're having the reading this week, is this quality of finish, of completion, of things being sorted, of endings, and what the new energy brings from that. Because there's always a new beginning. Even when this life form ends, the vitality, the energy that is us is transformed. It doesn't end. It goes on and takes a new form, because there's no such thing. It's I'm going to mess this up because I'm not a physicist. But the thing is energy is never ended. It's never terminated. It doesn't cease to exist. It just goes on. It just has a different form. And we're like that as well. We're energetic beings. We're life force beings. Our life force will change as well and take on a new form. Where am I going with that? So this card of death is sitting in the foundation position. So for those of you who are, there are perhaps students in the group who are listening, and if you are, congratulations to you for completing your education and whatever it is that you've just completed. Just recognizing that completion, honoring it. That is a piece of life that is done. And now there will be something new coming from it. And this isn't just school. This is life. Things happen. We continually have endings and new beginnings, endings and new beginnings. And I love the symbolism of the cocoons at the bottom of this card, because it reminds us that for the caterpillar, when it crawls into that and weaves a cocoon, essentially it's done. It's like a sarcophagus. It's going in to die, or so perhaps it thinks. Who knows what a caterpillar thinks, but I would think that's what they maybe think of. They probably don't feel very good. Their insides are becoming liquid. And then they're transformed. They come out of that cocoon utterly transformed, lighter, more graceful. They have wings. They can fly, which they couldn't do before. They sip from the nectar of flowers rather than eating the leaves of the plants. It's a different existence, very radically different. And so this is what we need to keep in mind going forward this week, this change, this possibility of deep change that could be so much better. And, if we want to think about that in the context of what we're going through on the planet right now, if you could redesign the world, if you could redesign life, if you could redesign our collective experience, what could it look like? How could it be improved upon? What would you love to see? Letting the contrast, because endings are a point of contrast. When we complete something, we often have a much better idea of what's coming next, or how we would like things to go from how things went. Allowing that to inform us so that we can generously create and spin the new world, the new life that we want to have. And it starts with us individually. It's up to us to live that truthful life authentically within ourselves, to have that new beginning that is congruent and authentic and aligned with our highest energy for ourselves. And then from there, we can live a completely different experience. We can flow our energy into the world in a different way. But this is the general flow of energy that we're living in right now. It's really about the inside out. Who are we? And are we living that life? And if we aren't living our best life, then maybe the life that we're living has to change in a dramatic way. I'm not saying that this is the case for everyone, but this message may be for somebody in this reading. But understanding that with the transformation and the change comes the new possibility, the opportunity to be a butterfly. So it's not to be feared, the level of change that we're talking about here. It's always for our good. It's always an opportunity. It's always an opening. It's always a step beyond. So, very interesting. This communication, getting clear about what we want, getting clear about what we desire, getting clear about what inspires us and excites us and energizes us. And using that information to help us generate change, to move our life in directions, to create movement and change in our lives that is more aligned with these truths that we've uncovered, that we know for ourselves. And as a result of this movement into this life of deeper congruence and alignment and satisfaction and pleasure, we can be more generous. We can help to co-create in the world in a different way and share our gifts in beautiful ways. It's like if everybody had a roof over their head and had enough to eat, what would the world look like? What would we be doing with our abilities and our talents if we weren't wasting life force in survival, but we already lived in thrival, so that we didn't have to use our abilities and our talents to just get through and keep a roof over our heads and food in our belly, but rather everyone's needs taken care of in wonderful ways? What would we create with that? The magnificent pieces of music that would come out of it, the beautiful gardens, the artwork, the solutions to the problems that we face. It's a different way of thinking about it, because so many of us for so long live life with the goal being the holiday or the goal being retirement, to finally be free enough. But what if that was your daily state? What if that freedom and that expansive ability to do and be and whatever you wanted every day was your reality? What would your life look like? What would change? And maybe just let yourself dream on that a little bit. Does it scare you to think about having such an unstructured life after being so structured for so long? And whose structure is it? Is it yours? Ultimately, as creative individuals, we will always get down and busy with something once we've had our break, because that's who we are as humanity. We're curious, inspired individuals, and we love to create. We love to come up with solutions. We love to make our world better. That's who we are inherently. So this reading is calling to this energy inside of us. Who could we be? Let's dream it. Let's dream it and pull it through. Just, it's lovely. The energy is lovely in these cards. Okay, even though, the name death can sometimes have a scary overtone, we don't need to be afraid of that. Understanding that all life is always for us, even if it doesn't make sense in the moment or we don't get it. The contrast always helps us to clarify what we prefer. And with that, let's move on to our card to grow on. Okay, Creator. As we dream, as we line up with the reality of who we are, the energy of who we are, our true selves, the broader, wiser part of us, and hold more of that here, Creator. What is it that we need to know this week going forward so that we can access more of the wiser, broader part of us, that we can show up more generously in every moment, bringing the gifts and talents of who we are forward with joy, with congruence, knowing that they'll be received and seen and acknowledged and appreciated by everyone we encounter. Our card to grow on this week is the Nightmare card. So this card, the Nightmare card, the Nine of Swords. Swords is about ideas and action. The Nightmare card reminds us that when we're having a bad dream, it feels like that's real. We're really stuck in that story. We're really stuck in that dream reality, if you will, until we're able to wake ourselves up or something happens and we're jolted out of it. And then we realize it was only a dream. So if our life is a dream, if we're here creating this life and it isn't going the way we want it to, how can we wake ourselves up and be more aware so that we take our life in a new direction? So that we use the contrast of where the dream of the experience or wherever we are in our lives to clarify what we want, and from that clarity move our life in a different direction. It's an interesting card. It speaks to perhaps the challenges that we're living through, this time that we're living through, the time of uncertainty, the time of not knowing where things are going to go. But there's ultimately coming home to this idea that we are the creators. We are the co-creators of our experience. We don't have to be passively at the effect of what's coming towards us. We can get in the driver's seat and say, okay, now what do I know? What do I know now? I don't like this. What do I prefer? How do I take my life even in a small way towards that preference? Because as we move towards our preferences, our yes, our energy softens, we become more resilient, the resistance goes away, and life flows a little bit more easily. So how do we move away from the resistance and into more ease and flow? We have to come home to our bodies, come home to ourselves in this moment through the breath, and say, okay, now what do I know? What do I want? And where do I want to go? And these don't have to be the big be-all end-all questions. It can be in the next 5 minutes. It can be in front of me right here, right now. Do I want chocolate? Do I want vanilla? Do I want to go for a walk? Do I want to go have a nap? Do I need a glass of water? Do I need a carrot? Small things like that, but always moving in the direction of your yes. It gets easier to hear your yes it's easier for us to hear our yes when we listen to it and we take steps with it. So all that to say, this week, if things feel like it's not how you want, like it must be a bad dream, like things aren't going the way you want them to go, with your breath, come back to your body, come back to the here now, wake yourself up, get into your conscious mindful, present observer space. Take care of yourself, do what you need to do, go for a walk, change the pattern, refresh yourself, then come back and reevaluate the situation from that broader, wiser, clearer perspective. You'll have insights that you didn't have before, because that's just how it works when we lessen the resistance. Then we get more information coming to us, and we can adjust and adapt more appropriately to any situation. So that's our card to grow on this week. It will help us to navigate whatever is before us, to remember that if things seem like a nightmare, we can wake ourselves up and have a new perspective and move ourselves in a different direction than simply staying in the dream and staying stuck. I hope that was helpful. Okay. So with that talk about coming back to the body, I invite you to close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. Coming back home to you, coming back home to your body. Creator, this is your daughter Titania. I'm here with all of your children now and in the future who are listening to this reading. I want to thank you for this opportunity once again to be of service, to do this reading and to do this work. May it be for all of our highest and greatest good. May it help us to clarify our experiences and give us the tools and the awareness and the resilience we need for whatever life brings towards us, so that we can be powerful, joyful, kind and loving co-creators with this magnificent life force energy that we are here to experience in human form. I ask that you help all of us to embrace the transformation and to move towards more beauty, more light, more congruence, more harmony, more well-being, knowing that we are powerful creators and we have it within us to change life even a little bit towards the better for ourselves and for everyone whom we meet. I want to thank all those who helped to hold the space today. The reading is at an end, and so it is. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your best to life. Thank you for choosing. Thank you for just being willing to take the journey with all of us. Much love and light. Have a wonderful week. I will see you next Friday. Take good care. Bye for now.